Hey there guys, over here today bringing you my F1 2014 career mode, and we've got part 13 here at the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. And as you can see, the practice session is pretty damn soaked, and it should help us towards the race actually, because the race is also an 82% chance of rain, which is slightly terrifying, because obviously, as I've said many times, and as you've seen many times, whenever it rains on this game, very tough to keep up with the AI. And Monza is already tough as it is, on this game now with the new torques and new engines. Ascari is a very tricky corner in the dry if you don't have the downforce, and in the wet it's going to be even worse. So we'll just have to see how it goes. So pretty much just doing setup work, no R&D in practice, and we finished up practice in 4th place. But I have to say, I think this is again a bit not something we should go on. I think the AI were running a lot higher fuel than I was. There's no way I'm 4th place in proper wet conditions on pace. Definitely, we're looking to be, we'll be lucky if we get into the top 10 in the wet in the race, if it does get to full wets in the race, that is. But here we go in qualifying. Q1 was pretty simple on the prime tires. We got through no qualms there into Q2, and then in Q2 we just about scraped into Q3 in 9th place, and I just about scraped in because I'm using a bit of a higher downforce setup. Obviously, I'm looking towards the race, so I'm actually running 6.6 wings, which is quite high for Monza. Usually for Monza, even on a wheel, you would be thinking of running at least you're thinking about 3.2 or 4.2, so 6.6 is pretty high, but I wanted to put it there because I wanted to be, play it safe for the rain. I wanted to look towards the wet race, not the kind of qualifying. We can always try and make up some positions, hopefully maybe in the start, and then kind of defend in the wet, rather than kind of being high up and then just going backwards on a dry setup in the wet. But enough talking about that. Let's go into this lap into Q3. This is my first flying lap in Q3. We're going to show you the whole lap because you guys seem to like watching the whole lap now. I thought I would, usually before cut it to make a bit of a shorter video, but you guys didn't mind the video being a bit longer, so I thought I'd show you the whole lap then. So yeah, the lap so far is going so well. Obviously, it's the first lap of this whole session, so I have no idea if this is going to be a fast lap in terms of will it be pole position or not. I highly doubt it will be pole position, but let's see how good it is. The tyre is actually getting a bit cold there, as you can see on the right hand side of the graphics, so that's not very good. Going to Ascari, a very tricky corner on this year's game. As you can see, I went horribly wide there, just a lack of downforce on this year's game. Very tough to get Ascari right. If you can get it right, then props to you. I sure can't. I can't get Ascari right completely. I can maybe do the first part good and then the second part bad, or vice versa, but I've never been able to completely nail it on this game so far like I could in 2013 because of the lack of downforce and grip. You just can't put the throttle down off the exit. But here we come through for the lap. It's a 1:26.167. So we'll have to see how that goes, and we're going to cut later on into the qualifying. We're 3rd place at the moment, so quite surprising. We're 3rd place in qualifying. That is quite high up considering where we were in Q2. And you can see here on my second flying lap, we have gone purple in the first sector here, so this is looking like to be a great lap. We've gone 3/10 and 400ths faster than the AI in the first sector there. That's awesome. But as we go into the curve, we've completely lost the car, and we've smashed our front wing off. And that's it. That's our session over. No more runs. So unfortunately, we were demoted down to 5th place in qualifying. But we did beat Daniel Ricciardo, who I forgot to mention is now our rival. You can see by the blue marker on next to his name. I have chosen him as my season rival purely for the fact that I actually fancy really going to Red Bull for next season. I love the T-Cam on the Red Bull car, like the thought of going to Red Bull as a team. Didn't fancy going to Mercedes because I think that'll be a bit too easy for us, but I think Red Bull will be a nice option. And as I said, I like driving the car in terms of the way it feels in the T-Cam and stuff like that. So I chose Daniel Ricciardo as my rival. So here we go onto the race. We're 5th place on the grid. As you can see, it's starting dry, but there's still 82% chance of rain. So that says to me that it should be, raining within at least the first 10 laps, I would say, maybe, of the race. So we're going to have to be wary. We're going to be maybe a bit slower on this first stint because we've got that higher downforce, but hopefully maybe when it starts to rain, we can kind of get an edge on the AI with running those 6.6 wings. It's all speculation. I'm really just kind of hoping and crossing my fingers at this point that it works out. So let's see how it goes. Let's go get onto the grid for the Italian Grand Prix, part 13 of this career mode. And here we go. It's a front row lockout for the Mercedes guys yet again. First, Lewis Hamilton. Here I am in 5th place and my teammate in 8th, so we've out-qualified him yet again. But here we go, going on to 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza. 27 laps. and we are off and getting a horrible start. A lot of wheel spin there. We're closing up on Vettel, who's had also a bad start, but we've completely weaved to the right hand side just due to the loss of traction. The car just kind of took me to the right hand side of the track. That blocked off Ricciardo. Now we're going to go down the inside of all these AI cars, and we're up to, what is this going to be, third place? Yes, Hamilton aggressively blocking his position on the inside of me to get second place back, so I was momentarily up to second for like a split second. Then Hamilton decided to squeeze the throttle a bit and get ahead in second. So we're up to third now, so that was quite a really nice turn one there. Kind of just went down the inside of all the AI. They're kind of packing up at on the left-hand side of the track, so I just took advantage of that. But I'm going to take all the advantages I can get already in this race at the start, because when it starts raining, although we got the higher downforce, you know, it's still very tough to keep up with the AI. So we may as well, you know, we may be going backwards. So we have to take all the advantage we can right now, really, in the dry. So now we're going to cut later on into the Grand Prix. It's lap 5. As you can see, the track is very gloomy at the moment, but as you can see, I'm in a very weird pocket where I've got about at least a second to Alonso. But the Mercs have completely stormed away. As you can see on the split time on the top left-hand corner, in 5 laps, they've got 11 seconds on me. That is some epic pace from the Mercedes guys. I've got 1.6 to Alonso so far, so I'm really in my own pocket of track at the moment where no one's really you know, fighting me at this point. And we come to lap 6 now through the Lesmo corners. It's getting dark, and I think the engineers said it's going to be raining in a few minutes time, so whether that's about lap 10 or lap 12, we'll have to see about that. But the Mercedes are completely streaking away right now in the distance. You can see now it's 13.5 the gap is, so it looks like the best we can hope for is third in this race. As we come out on the exit of Ascari, we've lost the rear. We've gone to the right hand side of the track. We're in the gravel. We've lost the rear again. We've lost 3 positions there in one corner. Absolute dilemma there. Raikkonen's got to pass us. We've lost 4 places in the span of one corner. Just on the exit of Ascari, lost the rear, gone to the gravel, and then the rear tyres just wouldn't grip up. And through Parabolica now, we're losing the grip. We're having to kind of feather the throttle, and Massa has got past us now for 7th place. So it's gone from bad to worse at the moment. Vettel trying to get us as well. So, wow, just completely mucked that up in the exit of Ascari. Down to 8th place now. Very bad stuff, and it's not going to get any better, because you can see the rain is starting to come down. So yeah, we've already gone from bad to worse really in this race. So now we're coming through Ascari. Vettel tried to make a move, but he thought better of it. But now at the middle of Ascari, you can see I've just got no grip, having to really fight the car, and Magnussen is coming like a silver bullet in that McLaren on the left hand side of the track now. My tyres are really worn, but as you can see, the rain's coming down. So, you know, I think it's kind of, I think we should stay out for the intermediate tyres. I think it's worth staying out for the intermediate tyres, maybe. We're losing it in Parabolica, though, and Magnussen's definitely going to be in the back of us, maybe. And it looks like some AI cars are going into the pits as well. But here we go. Magnussen will have DRS. Gutierrez will have DRS. Here he comes. The Mexican in the Sauber is coming to overtake me and Magnussen. Coming down to the first corner now. Gutierrez brakes very early. I hit him, and we've spun spectacularly through the sleeping policeman on the first corner, and we're down to back down to 8th place from what was 6th place momentarily there. And just wow. Yeah, part 13 is definitely the unlucky number here in career mode, because it's going from bad to worse. The rain's coming down on lap 11. I've just got no grip whatsoever. We're coming through here to the chicane. We've got no grip. What is going on? Just no rear grip, and we've just completely lost the car once again. I'm facepalming a little bit. I just want to apologise for the terrible driving you're seeing at the moment. Just got no grip whatsoever. I just can't help doing it. I can't do much, you know, about it. I'm just trying to drive as fast as I can through the circuit, and it's really no use, because you can see the rear tyres are absolutely gone. But, you know, for me, I think the only thing was to stay out for inters. There was no point in me pitting for dry tyres like the AI have done, because I would have lost even more places. And, you know, we wouldn't have been in what is 10th at the moment as we go into the pits now. Button's going to the pits as well. Magnussen might be... Oh my god, what the frick? What on earth happened there? We sort of exploded Button, okay. Got no front wing, and we've exploded Button there. So Button is out of the Grand Prix. That was a spectacular crash. I don't even understand. I don't know why Button brakes so hardly, or why my car didn't automatically slow down enough, because I can't do much about the pit entry. It's meant to slow down on itself, and as you know, as I'm talking about that, as you can see on the gameplay, we had to do a whole lap without a front wing as well, because it did that stupid glitch that this game does. On the last game it did this as well, where if you crash in the pit lane, the game doesn't recognise you've lost your front wing, and the team doesn't change your front wing. So we've had to change it now, and we've lost even more time because Magnussen's held us up. So we've lost a whole lap going without a front wing, and now we've lost a bit of time to Magnussen there as he held us up. But going back to that, what on earth was that crash with Button? It's an auto pit lane. You know, you can't physically brake to slow yourself down once you've crossed that kind of auto pit lane, and it goes into cockpit mode, which I was in, and it just smashed into Button, and he lost his rear tyre, and he was out of the race, and I lost my front wing, annoyingly. So, yeah, our race went from bad to worse to rock bottom there. We're on lap 16. It's intermediate conditions at the moment. We're 16th place, trying to defend from Magnussen. So this is a horrible position to be in. As we come through on lap 17, we're getting some positions as people are in the pit. So we're up to 13th place at the moment in this Grand Prix on lap 17. People have come to the pits. Magnussen trying to fight me. We're going to defend from him pretty easily there into the first corner chicane. And you can see up ahead, Ericsson's up ahead. So we are behind the likes of Caterham and Sauber at this point in the race, which is horrible to say. And now later on to the lap 17, after the Lesmos down this back straight towards Ascari, we're closing in on Marcus Ericsson. Can we get him? This is for position. So it looks like he's going very slowly. Maybe this is just the pace of the Caterham there. So we've overtaken him. So it looks like that was just the pace of the Caterham there. He wasn't letting me through because he doesn't have blue flags. That was for position. So we're up to 12th place now. Maldonado ahead of us in 11th place in the rubbish Lotus. So very, very poor pace here in the wet at the moment. On lap 17, though, I think it is maybe time to pit, because we saw some AI in the pits as well. Looks like these intermediate tyres really can't last too long. We're talking a mere, 5, 6, 7 laps at the moment, so it may be worth going to the pits at the moment. We are going to do that. Made a late call to go into the pits. Thankfully, Maldonado isn't right there like Button was, so we don't crash into him, thank God. But yeah, we're in 12th place at the moment, up to 11th there. But we all go down some positions, obviously, as we're making this pit stop now. So onto another set of intermediate tyres. So we're down to 15th, and will it be, I think it will be, no, 14th now, 14th. So we've gained a position on Ericsson, I think that was, and Magnussen there. Got those places back in the pits. So we're up to 14th place now. No, 15th now. Okay, that's a bit weird. Suttle comes through. I don't know where Suttle came from, but down the inside of the first corner, we've just about made it through. Very opportunistic move. We've had to cut the corner slightly, but I had no front grip, and my tyres locked up, so I really couldn't do much. But Maldonado and Suttle going very slowly, and, maybe a bit of a cheeky move there to cut the corner slightly and not give the position back. But I'm going to take any advantage I can, because in the wet, it's really not looking good at the moment. Our pace really isn't enough to get, anywhere near the top 10 at this point. We may just about scrape into the top 10, but definitely not going to be anything higher than maybe 10th place at this point. And we're on the back of Gutierrez now for 12th place. Here we go down the inside on lap 21. Easy move there for 12th place down the inside, but we've got to make these moves to try and get back into the top 10. If we can get 1 point from this race, I think that'll be a good race, because we've spun it, going down to 8th. We crashed in the pit lane. We've had to do a whole lap without a front wing, so I think it'd be really great if we could get 10th place at least. And we are into 10th place at the moment, lap 22, but that's, I can tell you, because Jean-Luc Verne has already pit for his last set of intermediate tyres, and now I will be pitting for my last set of intermediate tyres. So let's see where we come out once we made the pit stop. Hopefully it's only 11th, because then we can try and chase down Kvyat for 10th place. So let's see, into the pit box now. We're going to hold up Kvyat a tiny bit there. As you can see, he was held, the Russian in the Toro Rosso. We've not been held up. 3.7 pit stop, and here we go out onto lap 23. We're in 11th place, yes. Magnussen's still behind us in 12th, so now we're going to push as hard as we can to try and get Kvyat for 1 World Championship point. Yes, we're going to fight as hard as we can to get in the points for 1 point in 10th place. Just a bit of pride, I guess, after such a horrible race with some really bad luck. So yeah, let's try and push as hard as we can now. We're going to cut later on to the Grand Prix now, indeed onto lap 25, and here we go. There's Kvyat. He's going very slowly because he's actually being lapped by Nico Rosberg, and I've used the blue flag to my advantage. So Rosberg up ahead, you can see, going through Parabolka in front of us, slowed Kvyat down due to blue flag, so I used that to overtake Kvyat. So a pretty easy move, handed to me, but I'm going to take all I can get. And now as we come through on lap 26, we've been lapped once, so this is our last lap of the Grand Prix. Kvyat right behind me, I'm saving some fuel, and we just about get through for 10th place, 1 championship point. Horrible race, especially considering what happened at Spa, which was an absolute amazing race in terms of a result. Yeah, tail end of the points. not very good, but considering all the bad luck we had and the mistakes we made in the first stint by spinning out of Ascari and then the weird luck of crashing into Button and having to go a whole lap without front wing, I think we've done alright to get 1 point at least. Ricciardo, unfortunately, has beat us in 4th place. I'm not too sure on this game if the rivalry is done on races or just championship standings. So at the moment, if it's on races, then Ricciardo's got me 1-0, but I've got him in the championship, so I'm not too sure how the rivalry exactly works, so I'll have to look at that. But yeah, we're in 5th place in the Driver Championship, and we're still in 4th in the Constructors, but that was a poor race, guys. But nonetheless, quite enjoyable, very entertaining with the crashes and the bad luck, and trying to come back for 10th place. So if you guys did enjoy that, give it a like, comment below on what you thought, subscribe to you for weekly F1. I've been aarava, hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time.